and I'm still learning a lot even from him. He's a professor of community health, a former provost of the College of Health Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo University, a former vice chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, a great man. They'll be talking to us today generally about why we need to pay emphasis on research, why we need to develop research skills, particularly looking into, research as a profession. So it's my privilege and a big honor to welcome and to open the floor to Professor Adesegun Olayiwola Fatusi to take us through the lecture for today. Prof, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Sir JBC. It's a great honor to be here. And I would like to start by thanking the GBC and the university for giving me this privilege. I also want to congratulate the university for instituting this kind of program. And I hope that change continually the trajectory of research at Mechta University. I'm going to go on to present my slide now. I don't have permission to share slides. Can I have the permission?
Yes, sir, you can go on, Prof.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I've seen the permission. All right. I hope I see my slides. I hope you can see my slides.
It's not up yet.
I need a
sir.
confirmation
Not
from
yet,
somebody.
sir.
Can you see my slides?
Not yet, sir.
Okay,
Coming
maybe
up.
the
Okay,
network.
it's coming.
All
It's
right.
coming now.
Okay, all right. So again,
Okay, yes,
it's
we
a
can see,
great
sir.
pleasure to be here. I thank you very much for this privilege. I've been asked to speak for the next 45 minutes or thereabouts about career opportunities in research. Permit me to explain the way my mind is working about this topic. I know that many people who are researchers or young people who are about finishing their PhD or even masters, and they are asking themselves the question next. So I'm going to take this topic broadly as about what are the opportunities that exist for people who are researchers in the real world, in the workplace. That's going to be the broad dimension of my interrogation this morning. I'll start this morning by presenting opportunities, and then I will dovetail into taking some quick look at how can researchers position themselves to take the full opportunities that might present themselves in this career pathways. And I'm going to do some very quick 3-element reflection about beyond skills and capacities, what matter in truly being able to optimize research opportunities. So let's start with talking about the types of career opportunities. And I would like to start by perhaps providing almost what I believe the overarching philosophy or short of saying definition around this issue. The reality is that when we think about research, many young people think about research from the perspective of, oh, we are either doing research to get our degree, or we are going to be researchers, or once we do research, then that means we are coming to academics. That is not the way it's clear out in real life. But that we can think about research role as something that cut across many sectors, indeed, virtually all sectors, because research deals with data in one way, different experiences, different pathways, and specific skill and technical expertise. So we can define the research, that's underpinned by the desire to use research methods to design research activities, to conduct investigation, to analyze findings, to write and present results for relevant and specific purposes within the workplace organizational setting. So anything that is underpinned by these broad philosophies that we know about research is what I am including in my definition of career opportunity this morning. Broadly, like I said, academia or non-academia. All right. So it's academia and or outside academia. But what does that mean? There are 5 platforms I want you to think about in terms of broad options that exist. Number 1, work in an academic institution in an academic role. So you're a lecturer, that's fine. You're a researcher institute, that's fine. But even within the academia or the academic institution, researchers can play other roles. For example, there is academic planning department. Academic planning department enterprising engagement is all about. It should be run by research, by data, by evidence. Also, how many students do we need to take this? How many lecturers do we need by course? So a researcher does not necessarily mean must be an academic. I have met some people that say, look, I like to have PhD, but I don't want to lecture. Oh, yes, sure. You can't have a PhD. It doesn't mean you must lecture. If we in an academic environment, there are many other roles that you can play. You can work in a non-academic institution where research is at the core. And I'm going to give specific example. I'm just broadening. You can work in that many places you can work that are non-academic, but yet research is at the core of those organizations. There are several of them. Things like population council in Nigeria. That's what they do. They research program and that. And so can work in this research that the core activity. You can use your subject knowledge as a researcher out. What is a non-research role? It's tell me if you do mathematics, then you have to be a school. Can tell you of someone who read mathematics and work in a bank, and not as a banker that are giving money and collecting money, but working at the back end of the banking sector where data and research are critical issues. So that is the 4th dimension you are talking about in terms of broad options. The 5th dimension is what I call transferable skill, because research is not only about conducting research, getting your result, and earning a degree. It's about growing in skill and competence in some critical areas of skill. And so there are several transferable research skills, from analytical skill, ability to be able to pinpoint a problem, to zero into that problem, to analyze it, ability to do analysis itself, statistical analysis, be it quantitative or qualitative, or even complex problem solving. Because that's what we bring to research field. You are asking yourself the question, why does it exist? Why is this situation lingering? What can we do about it? What if I do A and B, C? That's what formed the nugget of complex problem solving. Project management is also integral to research. You need to plan, how do I collect my data? How do I get to the field? How do I put it to looking at the opportunity that research gives us? Those are some of the critical transferable research skills which you can employ anywhere, from finance to insurance, whatever degrees. It's about the core skill that defines us as researchers. I'm now move on to some nitty-gritty. I have divided this into 6 broad areas where researchers can work based on the framing I just gave you. Those 5 dynamic areas in terms of how we employ skill. Number 1 is government agencies. I was telling one of my mentees a couple of weeks back, I said, when I finished my training, my training, and somebody mentioned that you think about Ministry of Affairs. I said, God forbid, what will I be able to do at the ministry? Today, I advise your people, the ministry is one of your best places to work, because the place that determines the affair of all of us. In terms of planning, in terms of research, the one that engage with international agencies. In fact, one of years, particularly engage with it extensively. So the ministry department and agencies, we use a lot of acronyms here and there. So that's government, government ministries, government department, government agencies. Each of them has by law a department of planning, research, and statistics. But unfortunately, in general, they have not performed as much as we expect. Why? Because mostly people are there are career as civil servants. Some of them are not even getting to research. They are not, they are just posted there. And if researchers begin to step to those areas, we can begin to see a turnaround. So that's one area we can talk about, the government sector. We can talk about specialized agencies. Government has a lot of specialized agencies that has to deal with research and data. One of them, for example, is the National Institute of Medical Research. There is the Federal Bureau of Statistics. There is the National Population Commission on Ash. So there's a whole lot of areas of government agencies. By the way, I realize that here I'm talking broadly, by the way, about research across all fields. It can be art, it can be social sector, it can be medical. So I'm going to try and give broad examples. So all of that exists. And then there are millions of government institutions. When I was Vice Chancellor at University of Medical Sciences, I was surprised about the opportunity we got with the Aero Agency. I mean, the one that's supposed to be for Aero and climate. And I mean, yeah. I never thought that there was one place we could work with. So all of that, and I met great researchers there. A number of them PhD holders, people who are even work in the university. At the point in time, the Metallurgical Institute in Nigeria was headed by a professor from Ife, because all of those areas that we don't think about, there are a lot of opportunities out there in government agencies that we can think about. Second one I want to turn to very quickly is the civil society organizations. And the civil society organization broadly involves all that you can think about outside government. That's also not for profit. So it includes people like non-governmental organizations. It includes faith-based organizations. It includes community-based organizations. There's a whole lot that happens in that area, because many of the grants that even come to the country, yes, grants may seem to be diminishing now. They go primarily to these organizations who are able to reach where government cannot reach, or do things that government is not able to step into sometimes. And we can talk about this both in the local, in terms of local organizations, and about maybe the more better word to use is the indigenous organizations and the international organizations. And there are a whole lot of them from places like AP Public Health Initiative, which started as an Harvard University program that's now a Nigerian program. So many other ones, we look around, so many of them. Even in Ife, there are a number of them that exist as local civil society organizations, and all of them will need research. So there are those who are focused on research primarily or working closely in the area of using research, either for programming or things like that. There are those who are, for example, evaluation focused on CSOs. They primarily are researchers. They use research to do evaluation. But there are other CSOs, all kind of CSOs really need monitoring and evaluation officers. So you could be a researcher from anywhere. You could acquire additional skills that you can get into any of these areas and become a monitoring and evaluation officer. The third area I would like to focus on is development organization, multilateral organizations. Multilateral organizations are largely the UN organizations and all of those organizations that bring together countries of the world. The UN, for example, I've been privileged to work in the United Nations Population Fund. And I know that a lot of work that we've done used to be with research. In fact, we got somebody from the University of Jos at that point in time, whose background was in demography, to come and help us with data, because one of the areas UNFPA work with is population data. And so many times researchers are not thinking about such areas. The United Nations Development Program has a lot of research-focused positions. There used to be a personality called very popular, who used to go work for one of Nigerian universities, who did some extremely fantastic work, helping to take the UNDP forward those days, using research to calibrate their engagement in the public space. So there are a lot of opportunities there. There are also a lot of opportunities in bilateral organizations. Bilateral organizations are organizations that bring two countries together at a time. And so Nigeria has bilateral organization relationship, for example, with the America USAID, even USAID is off the sea now. But there's bilateral organization with Canada. So you have someone like CIDA, the Canadian International Development Association. You have the Japanese from JICA. You have the UK one, the FCDO, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and on and all of that. And a lot of opportunities also occur in those areas. There are some private foundations from Gates Foundation to Ford Foundation and many other foundations that exist out there. Okay. The fourth area you can think about is for profit research organizations. There are organizations that are research focused, but they are not CSOs or NGOs. In NGO, you don't give profit at the end of the year. But the organizations that are focused on profit and research, and the number of them that existing within the country, that those that are contract research organizations, they take contract from different organizations to help them organize their research. I can see Professor Brady on the call. I remember a couple of weeks we were on one call together, and in that call, the organization that was going to do the research was contracting another organization to do some of the work for them. So the number of organizations like that all around that people are not aware that what they do is they do this contract, do what you can call a micro planning or micro execution of research projects. There are also think tanks all around the country and all around the world that are engaged in policy, engaged in research, engaged in crafting thoughts for government. All of them work with data. There's data and market research organizations. One of my mentees a couple of years ago read microbiology in Ife, and I remember those days in the early 90s. We used to run some research training. He came to become my research assistant, leaving the state to work with me from time to time. Today, he leads one of the biggest market research organizations in this country. A few months ago, he invited me to his 10th anniversary. And at Marriott, of the organization, this was a guy who read microbiology, but he had acquired extra skills in research. Today, he's leading one of Nigeria's biggest market research organizations. So there are a lot of opportunities in those places. There are also management consultancy organizations, from McKinsey to several others, who engage with all kinds of research to help to advise government all across the world. They're looking for researchers, they're looking for those with research transferable skills to help them in terms of using evidence to drive policies and to drive ideas. We could also talk about the private sector and corporate organizations. For most organizations, manufacturing organizations, industry leaders in terms of the various areas of industrial engagement, they will have a research and development division. And those organizations, those are areas where there are many opportunities for researchers. It doesn't mean that you must read industrial chemistry to work in an organization that is. One of my friends was working in NAFDAC not too long ago. And he came from a background of statistics. That's what he writes. And the same is true, either you talk about Federal Institute of Research, or FIRO, Federal Institute of Industrial Research in Oshodi, or you are talking about manufacturing firms like the Exos of this world or whatever, or the Shibita. They all have research and development organizations, engineering firms. You all have that. And you don't need to be an engineer to work in an engineering firm. If you're a researcher, you have transferable skills that can work in their research and development division. there are also many other scientific research duties and responsibilities that are specific to individual industry setting. Beyond that is this pleomorphic, if you like, pleomorphic group that have got other organizations. Because, like I said, you can apply research virtually in every field, from the financial services to insurance, where they do their actuarial science, where they are calculating how much we pay for insurance. Recently, I was working with a group, and they were looking at how do they engage Nigerian Insurance Agency around some of these issues. So they are looking for researchers who have backgrounds, mathematics, statistics, and all of that can help them in the development work. There are also individual consultants. You may branch off to stand on your own. You may decide to work with your friends and establish your consultancy firm. It doesn't need to be big, but you can start small, and you can get consultancies from all kinds of organizations, research organizations, UN organizations, government organizations, because many of them engage researchers to help them with their work. And it can be different kind of work. Sometimes it is to help them read their report, to be sure that their use of data is correct. Sometimes about helping them to interpret data. Sometimes about how to help them conduct studies. Sometimes about how to design studies. So there are a whole lot of opportunities to research and agencies and consultants. They can also be training. Many are also training their organization staff in terms of capacity to do research and all of that. So there are a whole lot of opportunities to not think about as researchers. That because many times in the university environment, they are so narrow focused. And so you think must be one. Please be one if you want to be one. But there are so many other opportunities out there. Let me talk about yes, academia. I think it's important to talk about academia. I guess that for many young people on this crowd, they will think that's where I want to start from. No, I don't start from there because that's likely very familiar with us. But there are, like I've been emphasizing, there are a whole lot of fields that we don't recognize. Even the armed forces, so there are a whole lot more that I could list in what you've seen. But let's talk about the academia for a while. Number one, it can be rewarding, but it can be challenging. The rewarding side is that I found, I've worked previously in UN organization, I've worked in an international development organization, and I found the university to be a place that gives me freedom to be who I am, freedom to speak my mind, freedom to engage in the kind of work I want to engage in, and opportunity to pace myself. I'm not in competition with somebody. If you work in the UN, you have to be diplomatic. There are things you can't say. But in the university, there's that freedom to be yourself, to engage in development activities that you desire. When you work in other organizations, you follow their path, you follow their desire, you follow their interests, follow their enemies become your enemy, their friends become your friends, and all of that. But in academia, there's that mixture of freedom and opportunity to self-pace, to engage in what you desire. Number two is the immense, immeasurable privileges. One of the things that I very exciting is the opportunity you really know exists, or the lives you really know you are blessing just because you're in the academic sector and you're doing your job well. I remember one day I was working in a mall in a different and somebody just lied down in front of me. If I almost thought I had it, I'm like, who knows me here? Where do I know you from? He says, sir, I know where you, this happened then, and you did this for me. Then that opportunity is a whole lot. To nurture and to mentor, you must never forget it. It's one of the greatest privileges in life to have the privilege to nurture the younger generation. It's also giving you relatively higher opportunity for self-development. Just 2 days ago, I was engaging with a colleague who I have recommended a young lady to, who is a professional, who was trying to decide between two kinds of institutions. And my friend who was working in an institution, who is a principal officer, told get. So you know what? The other place we get monies that will, yes, maybe slightly happy, but yeah, there's a whole lot of opportunity. Opportunity to go for more training, opportunity to be funded for research, opportunity to get grant for that fund, and began to tell her those opportunities. So there are a lot of opportunities for self-development and for global networking in academia. It also offers you, if you like quiet and shielded life, you don't want to be engaged in all the politics that happen in some other places. The academia is a lovely place for quiet and shielded life. And there are many more opportunities. You know, the pay is generally higher than most government FDAs, government agencies. And there are many opportunities for also moonlighting. There's grantmanship that you can get opportunity. And if you truly at the boss, if you are in research, think about growing your skill in grantmanship and getting grants. If you get good grants, you will enjoy doing your work and you enjoy many privileges. You know, many of the things you talk about in academia will not be a problem. You know, salary not enough, you can't travel. No, because your research fund will support many of the things. They are not asking you to abuse privilege, but there are rights that are built into your grantmanship. And the opportunity also to do consultancies. Many development agencies look to the university to provide them with consultants when they have very important things to do. The same is also true of CSOs. The same is true of government agencies. So there are many opportunities. If you are good with what you are doing and you network well, you can start opportunities. But there are, like everything in life, there's also its challenges. There's the publish or perish. Thank God that some of our criteria now for assessing is not just counting number. So we don't need to run the rat race. You can focus on doing quality work, quality publication, and you know that your research will come, your promotion will come through. By the way, I was talking to some other mentees who just got job in the university a few weeks ago. And I told them when I came to the university, I have 5 agenda. I call them A, B, C, D. I said none of them was to become a professor. That was not on our agenda. And they were surprised. I said, they thought, why would you come to university and don't want to be a professor? I said, no, you don't understand. My A stands for academic excellence. If I do excellent work, I publish top quality work. If one university doesn't want to make me a professor, there are too many other universities who will be glad to make me a professor. But what's important is not the professorship, because that is a byproduct of good academic work. You get recognition for your work and all of that. So, public or perish can sound like a threat, but indeed, it can also be an inspiration to do great work. The other thing is that, well, you know, ASU says our take-home pay cannot take us home. So, yes, you may think that there is not commensurate to a moment, but things are getting better slowly. Worse than it is in private sectors. I like to be very real with people. Worse than what you get in development organizations. I remember when I got my job, full-time job in development organization in 1996. At that point in time, I was earning 19,000 as the snow registrar in the hospital. And I resumed in this UN office. My salary was 99,000, 5 times overnight. So yes, it's worse than that. But believe me, there are many opportunities you have in universities that they outside there don't even have, like I've told you. And then you can't just join the university at any time. CSOs advertise when they like. That's not true of universities. You need the federal authority, you need the federal character, you need the budget to be approved. So you may even desire to work in the university. The opportunity may not come as fast as you are. So those are the realities around those issues. Okay, now do we then move on from here to say, okay, these opportunities are out there, all around us. How can researchers, particularly younger researchers, position themselves for these opportunities? What are they asking for? What they need? One of the things I often tell my mentees is to look ahead 25, 30 years time. I say, where do I want to be? What do I want to be there? And to plot back from where that is to where they are today. And look for the advert for that position and say, what are they asking for? Which of them do I have? Which of them do I lack? How do I get what I lack so that I can grow systematically to become what I hope to be in the future? So I like to talk about this issue about requirement and positioning for opportunities. There are what I would call 3 basic requirements for stepping into this career opportunity. Number 1 is formal qualification. Of course, if you work, for example, in a place like the UN, the minimum for you to be a program officer or a research-related officer will be master's. Otherwise, you'll be working as an associate supporting some other people. In other organizations, you need a PhD to be a research scientist. I work briefly at Gomaka Institute in New York, and every senior researcher, every senior scientist must have a PhD. So it depends on where you are. There usually will be a formal qualification required. But believe me, beyond qualifications, and this is one of the courses of our university, permit me to use that word, that we are turning out sometimes graduates with certificates whose skill do not match the certificate. And let me say this to you, if you are out there as a young person and you are out to say, I want a PhD, and you're not willing to do the work, you are just wasting your time and you are shooting yourself in the leg. Because your weakness will be exposed sooner or later. Or in the area of AI, I was talking to a son of a friend of mine. I was saying to me, he doesn't know why his father still do what some of the things he does. He said there's AI to do everything. AI, if you use AI to keep on writing your project and all of that, you are simply shutting yourself out of opportunities to develop yourself, to grow your capacity. I believe in AI. And I believe AI can be used for good effect in academic. But if you use it you think you are trying to shortcut the system, you are just shortcutting your future and shortcutting your own potential. So, high level of skill is needed in many, many organizations out there. I remember a story and I can't where we were interviewing somebody, and we were asking practical questions about how the research skill and how his area of subject will apply in real world and on the field. And the person started stuttering. Of course, he didn't get the job. Many times in the UN, they won't, if you come for an interview, they won't ask you, give me definition of 5 causes of. Nobody has that kind of question. They give you a real life scenario. You're working with the Minister of Health. They've found this out. They turned this out. What do you think they will do based on the evidence that you have? And as you're doing the exam, they are sending it to their headquarters in New York, in the case of UNFP. So there's nobody to even lobby. So make it a priority to develop skills, not just core skill around your subject area, but the transferable skills I've talked about today. Some of them are analytical skill, about complex, about problem solving skill, and all of that. So that's extremely important. The third area is getting experience. For example, it's almost impossible to enter a UN organization without experience because they are looking for people who will support governments. So if yourself need support, like the Bible says, when the blind lead the blind, they know the answer. They're going to fall into a dish. So they won't engage you, even if you have a PhD and you have not gotten your hand dirty. They are looking for those who have been the threshold, who has gotten their hand dirty, who understand what it means to interpret, to organize, to engage in programs. That's what they're looking at. And so many young people talk to me and say, but we are young. How do we get those experiences? How can they expect us to have experiences this early in our life? There are several opportunities. Internship. Go and apply somewhere to get experience. Go and do internship. It's not just the mandatory internship. You can apply to organizations, even UN organizations, international organizations, Center for Integrated Health Program in Abuja, Science for Family Health in Abuja, many other areas. We'll be glad to welcome good interns. Even small NGOs can be very useful to grow your skill. Mentoring. Please avail yourself of the opportunity. None of us it was what now? Outgoes mentoring. I have mentors for every area of my life, from my personal life, my spiritual life, my research life, all of that. So, and if you are young, it's particularly required. Please use the opportunity to get mentoring. Number 3, volunteerism. Nigerian young people are yet to understand that volunteering work in organization is not a loss. People are not using you for themselves. No, you are growing yourself mostly at the expense of other people. You are using that platform to develop yourself. And that's what you see. If you take a CV from an American student, you'll be amazed how many places he has volunteered. You take the Nigerian counterpart, nowhere. All he has is RBSc. So what? Millions have masters every year, PhD every year. So it is things like volunteerism that gives opportunity to enter the field quietly that can help you to grow. All right. How do we then position for opportunities? I'm aware that I have to finish this in another 8 or 9 minutes. Position for opportunities, almost for everywhere, the couple of things that are required. One, it's about a CV, but please note, I have put this here, appropriately structured and strategically focused CV. When I see CV that people in academia are written, and for example, maybe I want to get people to do consultancies, or somebody asked me in an agency, please help us get a consultant. And I ask somebody who's a researcher, please give me your CV. The CV they often give me, sometimes I just feel like bursting to laughter. Because all I see is what lecture I've given in this semester. Who cares? So people care in academic, but other fields, other things they are looking for. So in general, you can talk about 3 kinds of CVs, depending on the situation. And you don't need to have you cannot use one CV for everything. For every work I'm engaging in, I am tuning my CV to speak to that job. So before you turn the CV, read the organization, read what they're asking for. So you are positioning yourself for success. There are 3 kinds of CV broadly. One, chronological CVs. Those are CVs that show progressive development and industrial experience. How you have grown from one level to the other. I don't just say, I was research assistant here, then I become research manager. No, research assistant. What did you do? What did you accomplish? So it shows how you have grown within the industry in experience and capacity. Second one is targeted CV. For example, the academic is a targeted CV, which is organized according to knowledge and experience needed within that sector. Oh, you have to write where you go to a degree, where you went to school. You have to write somewhere you are teaching. You have to write all of that. You have to write paper you have published. It's a full of them. In UM, many times they will tell you, don't write more than 5 publications, but that's not what they're after. But in the academic, a title CV speaks specifically. The other way to consider title CV is the CV that is the CV demanded by the industry. When you are looking for organizations to engage you find many of them will tell you what they need. What you need to communicate to them. So you can develop your CV specifically for them. There's also skill-based CV. So if, for example, you want to turn this CV for consultants generally, you need to organize your CV to highlight that area of your skill. So when I'm doing an evaluation job for somebody, what comes up first in my CV is the evaluation work I've done before. If I'm doing work in HIV, what comes up first is my HIV. So I am organizing this based on the skill I need in that job. And then you need a well-written and persistent cover letter. Make sure that the cover letter you are writing is error-free. Leave margins while it is there, and check the grammar by all the kind of opportunities that are available now, from Microsoft to the pilot or whatever, to check what you are writing. And please get appropriate referees. People call me from time to time, like somebody called me last week and said, I know you're a public health. Please, can you give my brother a referee? I said, look, can I write anything for him? All I will write, because I won't tell her, is that, I will write, he went to University of Lagos. He finished this year. Please, maybe I'll say he's a good man. But that's not a powerful one. Some of the best people to write to CV are people who know you personally, who have worked with you, your supervisor, even if he's not a professor. Because when you go online sometimes, they will ask you the question, how well do you know this one? How many years have you known him? So I'll say, I know you for 1 week. They don't know you at all. So think about those who can be appropriate referees who will add value to how you are seeking the opportunity out there. And of course, prepare yourself for your interview if you are going for an interview in a very rigorous way. I told somebody a story a few days back. He came for an interview. I was on the panel, and he asked me some questions. He just didn't know about the organization where he was going to come. So he came to see me afterward and said, "Oh, I perform woefully." I said, you did. I said, if you don't know about the organization, what test will you know? I said, when I went for an interview at Unimed, one of the questions they asked me, they said, what do I know about the university? And I replied, I said, everything you have on your website, I know it. No, I tried to challenge back. So I downloaded them. I read everything in darkness because I was hoping they will invite me. So if you are going to get opportunity, particularly outside the university, even within the university, you need to research well, you need to get yourself well prepared ahead of time. And then how do you begin to get those opportunities? One, don't lose your mind. Don't restrict your thinking. And that's why I'm glad if you are here today, because oftentimes we speak our mind. Explore, broaden your horizons. Look at what people in your field are doing. Go and read them online. I see so many people are doing. Look for opportunities for online engagement. The adverts, LinkedIn is extremely useful in industry. There are specific hubs for different industries. Newspapers are not out of date. Newspaper adverts, these magazine adverts are still out there. For the last, when I got to work in Gomaka, it came through networking. The same DBC who invited me to give this lecture was one that brought me the advertisement. This advertisement came out, and then encouraged me to apply. So advertisements are still working. They are still important. If you want a national job, read the economics, for example. There's all these advertisements there and things like that. There are professional groups and websites. Network with others, your colleagues, your friends. Find out where are you now. You say, I'm now in McKinsey. How do they get to McKinsey? I begin to understand that, oh, I don't need to necessarily work in this other place. There are other opportunities there. So effectively networking, and there are many other ways in the 21st century that we can reach out to other people. All right. So what do we navigate the future and make your final choice? I'm going to close in 2 minutes. One, consider your long-term vision and goal. What do I really want to be? Where am I going with my life? It's not about the money. Many times people think about the money. No. You can work in a place that pay you more and you will never have peace, you will never have joy. You just go to live a life of depression. Think about your life. What do I want? What do I want to be? What am I able to be? Look at your key interest area. How do my interest areas align with this kind of fields? Will I be happy there? Will I be able to do well there? Think about what you can do naturally, your skill sets. You know, I often tell younger people that, look, God designed us in a very interesting way. The eagle is designed to fly. So his wings are designed purposefully by the creator to fly. The fish is supposed to swim in water, and the creator gave the gill to be able to survive. So for all of us, there are skill sets and natural talents. And many times we need to nurture them to make them what we want to do. Then think about compatibility to other areas. Somebody say, I want to work in this industry that needs your 24 hours. You need you to go to under the river, under the sea. You go to the field for 2 weeks. You will come back for 2 weeks. And then you want to do other things like you want to be the football champion of Nigeria. They can't align. So you have to ask yourself, what other interests are priorities to me? How do I align them? And then sometimes life is not about what you want. It's about opportunities that God throws on our way through friends, through networks. So look at what are the opportunities. Sometimes you may have to have a comma before you have a full stop. In other words, you may have to take another job before you come back to your final job. So as opportunities are available, look at what can you navigate, what can you use. And I always tell people, one of the greatest gifts of God to man is our inner witness. Something just tell you this is the way to go. And sometimes I call that spiritual insight. You know, something you can't explain can help you to understand where should you go and why should we go there. Let me close with 3 reflections in 1 minute. Number 1, how your research, your PhD is good, but it's beyond that. And unlike this word of the scripture, forgive me if you are not of the same research persuasion, this is not about religion, but just that there's a value I find in this sentence. Do you see a man who excels in his work? So beyond your qualification, beyond whatever skills you have, is a spirit and a sense of excelling. That takes certain kind of commitment. Say, do you see a man who excels in his work? Say you stand before critics. And so make excellence an idea right from now. And I like philosophy, even as you are studying, as you are preparing, or even as you are finishing your PhD, or even as you are, wherever you are working now, make excellence the touchstone. Number two, somebody says, I mean, this is also a subscription. It says, if you have not been faithful in what is another man's, who will give what's your own? You know, sometimes people say, they want to just use me. They are working with a professor, say he wants to use you. He has written his papers, he can even write more. Your opportunity to work with him, if you're not willing to bend, you are not ready to rise. So when you have opportunity to work with other people, work with them. Work with them with your own heart. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow. I spoke about volunteerism a minute ago. No, it's about learning to work with people and learn to work with them faithfully. You're not saying, oh, because I'm volunteering, okay, I just do the way I like. After all, they're not paying me. No. If you have not been faithful what's another man's, who will give you what is your own? And finally, is this inflation? Sometimes, particularly in the world we are in now, there are challenges sometimes about saying this way I want to go, but there are challenges in getting work. Opportunities may seem limited, but don't be discouraged. Be resolute, be focused, and be resilient. Keep on growing yourself. And capital R, don't forget this. Keep in mind that skills may take you to the top, but ultimately it's your character that will keep you there. Your social, your emotional intelligence, your trustfulness, your integrity that will take you there. I want to thank you very much for the privilege to give this lecture. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, everyone.
I don't know what best to say than to say, please, if it's possible for you to unmute and just say thank you, sir. So I think that'd be right to do. We sincerely want to appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. The day has been good. But because of time, sir, I just want to focus. For me, I've made up my mind. God helping, I don't want to miss any of this series. And I will just be taking like 2 or 3 scoops of sugar for the coffee. One thing that you said, sir, that really touched me again, that resonated with the lecture we had last week, was as researcher, we are not just about identify problems. We should be problem solvers. And I don't know how many people took that note, that wherever we are, we should demonstrate that we are researcher by thinking about not just identify the problem, but how do we go around solving the problem. The second thing you mentioned, sir, that again I took very seriously, is that being a researcher is not about having a master's or a PhD. That's about all of the skills, the experiences that we gather, along the line, and that even the place for us to use those skills may not even be in the discipline that we are. I'm a demographer, for instance, that my skills may be useful in other areas. And the third thing that I saw that, again, I want others, particularly our masters and PhD students, to take note of, is to say that the world is really waiting for you. To say, even from the ministry, I talk about discouraged mentality. You don't need to be discouraged. There are opportunities for you there in the ministry, in those top places, if you have the right skill. And you don't need to know anybody, that your skill can find a way for you. Thank you so much. I want to open the floor for others. Please, if I see your hands up, I will be able to call. Otherwise, sorry. Please. Okay, please, Mr. Jacob Somori, please, in 1 minute, please, can you go ahead?
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the privilege. And God bless the presenter greatly. I'm encouraged and I have learned so much. And I'm happy that I'm in this fora today.
Please,
thank you very much. Okay, my name is all right. My name is Dr. Jacob Somori Ewutanure from the Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Faculty of Environmental Management, Nigeria Maritime University, Okeren Koko. Delta State, Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Okay. Please, in 1 minute, your comment and question, please. Yes.
Sir, please, I want to make an appeal. If this presentation can be made available to participants, sir, for future reference, sir.
Yeah, please fill the form. We will share the link. It's already
right.
on YouTube. Every of this lecture will be on YouTube, so you can share it among your colleagues. Thanks so much for joining us from Warri.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Yes. Sir. Yes. User, I don't know who the user is. User, please go ahead. 1 minute, please. Then Merit, 1 minute. Jalade, Falade, 1 minute. Please go ahead in that sequence, please. User, please. Can you unmute? Please go ahead. You have 1 minute, please.
All right. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much, Prof, for the class. I really appreciate. I just need you to complete the acronym you share with us. You said when you started as an academician, you did not have goal to become a professor, but you have ABC goal. That A stands for academic excellence. To me, I just want to know, okay, what are the other acronyms so that we can follow suit? Thank you very much, sir.
That's okay. Thanks. Falade, please. 1 minute.
Well, thank you. Good morning. I'm Falade Joshua, Associate Professor, Unimed, Mental Health. Please, well, thank you, Prof. This is not the first time. I just want to get the link because I saw this on someone's status. So I joined late. I didn't follow most of the presentation. Please, I don't know where we can get the link. Thank you.
Okay, please, organizer, please, can you share the link again for registration? But it's on YouTube.
So, yes, so link is the same every week. It is the same link. So you can use the same link you used today. Thank you.
Yes.
Same time.
And you can also register. There's a link to register.
Same time.
Yes, it's 8 o'clock to 9 every Friday. Every Friday, 8 to 9. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Prof, sir. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone that joined from Warri and all of that. I was going to ask if I should patent my ABCD or at least from charge on this platform, but since I'm on this platform, I'm sure that I can release. I'm sure you know I'm just doing about that. So there are 5 things I wrote on my wall to remind me why I came to the university. A, stands for academic excellence. B is to be builders of men. So one of the things therefore is that I don't want to just excel. I want to be able to grow other people. I want to be able to mentor other young people. So that kept on reminding me that that's one of my purpose in university. C, forgive me, this is who I am. My C is about connecting people with God. Because whatever our faith is, I often believe that without referencing God, knowing God, things will probably not work with it. And whatever faith you have, that's fine. But it's important for me personally, this is a thief and you train him. You only train a smarter thief. But when somebody also knows God, you know that your character and all of that will be part of his development. Number D is what I call the dream maker and dream releaser. I got that from a book I read years back. And I don't have time to tell the story. But about how you release people into their dream through encouragement, through facilitation, through creating opportunities for them, and create an ambience where they can be themselves, they can grow, they can fall, yes, rise again. So, but like I said, I don't have time to expand on that. But it's about being a dream maker, for young men with dreams for their future, purpose, and just leaves them to their dreams, you know. And E is to be an enabler of future development. So when I was thinking about coming to the university, I was thinking about what can I, with my background, what can I link the university with? Oh, are there grants I can bring in? So it's not about me just passing through the institution, but also any institution gives me the platform to also. I think I think that's the only one. For Joshua Falade is my friend and colleague and co-researcher. Congratulations, Falade. I know you complicated said. I also shared with you. Well, after you have sent me my cake from yesterday's graduation. Thank you, everyone. DBC. Over to you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye.
Sir, please, in this order, I will give Professor Abodering because I saw him online. I already talked to him. We are featuring him very soon. Professor Abodering, I will give you 1 minute. Then Professor Grace Ogunlusi 1 minute. Then I will yield the floor to Professor Morenike Opong, our lecturer last week, to close this for us. Thank you. Professor Abodering, 1 minute. Professor Ogunlusi 1 minute. Then over to Professor Morenike Opong.
Sorry, Prof. We have some questions from YouTube.
Okay, please read them quickly.
Okay, the first question. Thank you for this presentation. I have a question, sir. One of the major challenges facing us in Nigeria and Africa is that we have not learned to institutionalize research. How do we undo this?
Read all the questions, please.
The next question says, the developed country have done this, and okay, it's the continuation of the, how do we undo this? Developed country have done this, and I think we also need to start working towards institutionalizing research so that the labor of heroes will not be forgotten.
Hello. Please sum up this question and let's put it on YouTube. Professor Valsi, please, you have to join us on YouTube to help us answer the question.
So
Because
that's
of time.
just the question that is on the
No, don't
YouTube.
worry, because we have only 3 minutes left now, please.
All right, sir.
So, Professor Valsi, please, you join us on YouTube, please, to help us answer the question. Professor Abodering, 1 minute. Professor Ogunlusi, 1 minute. Then Professor Opong. Thank you.
Professor Abodering, you are muted.
I'm not sure he's still in the meeting.
Maybe somebody else will, because our minutes is gone almost.
Professor Ogunlusi, then, please, 1 minute quickly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Professor
thank
Grace
you very
Ogunlusi
much,
is
the DVC Research, Innovation and Development. I want to sincerely appreciate Professor Fatosi. In fact, I shared this flyer very widely, and I'm happy that you have really done far, far beyond what we thought of. But maybe my own charge to everyone will be that we should take all that we have learned here very seriously. And just to emphasize also on the need for skills and making use of every opportunity with that passion to pursue excellence and to do your best to develop the system, the nation, and to solve problems like the DVC said. So thank you so much, sir. We can't thank you enough. This is very insightful, very powerful indeed. Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
And yes, to build on Professor Ogunlusi's talk, I say thank you, my pastor and my friend and my brother. Very insightful. Just to note also, like Professor Lucy noted and Professor Fatosi emphasized, the need to continue to learn. I mean, any one of us here, all the professors on this platform could as well sit and say what is there to talk about. But every day you learn, you pick a gem. Every day you learn, you pick a gem. Every day you learn, you pick a gem, and you get a lot better. There's never a stop to growing. And so you pick a gem. As you're doing this, I tell females, at this time you're doing school run, at this time you're cooking, listen to the YouTube, keep it playing. If you play for 1 hour, you pick one thing. Get on every listserv. Don't be an listserv on your specialty enough. You're just in those spaces, and when you speak intelligently, people just don't know how it comes together. Thank you for the opportunity, and looking forward to being there next week. Over to you, DVC, my boss. Bye.
You have to close, man. Please just close.
On that note, I invite every other person, please spread the news. There's a YouTube. Be here next week for another powerful session. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thanks, everyone. Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Appreciate
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Please let's make sure to fill the
Thank you, sir.
attendance
Thank you.
before we leave the call.
We are grateful.
Thank you, the
All right.
organizer. I'm
Thank
happy to
you.
be here.
Please complete the attendance sheet before you leave the call. And then the same link next week, Friday. Thank you very much. At the same time.
Thank you, sir. We love you.
Not your fault. Not your fault. Where is your registrar today? Eh? Oh, sorry.
Find out you can end the meeting, please.